It is Lord Haywire. I am streaming some 2D4X game creation. We're still working on this with lots of help from chat. Sometimes they're helpful. Anyways, I just noticed a bug, and it was right before we started. When I started streaming, I was like, "Wait, is it generating a faction leader for this one?" In our test scenario here, this is one faction, this is one faction, and then the player faction is both of these. So we need to put some so it did, and so we need to put some code in for that. But we're not going to fix that just yet. I'm just going to put it on our list. Do not generate a leader if there already is a faction leader. So there's two faction leaders currently. And I remember I did this exact same thing in Unity. Like, everything we're doing here is basically, going through and redoing everything that I had in Unity. So it's kind of a bummer to have to redo this. The code is coming up, I hope, a little better, a little smoother, because it would be nice, if that is how it worked, that the code was better the second time around. We're copying a lot of code over, and we're going to probably copy over some stacking hero stuff. So wait, what happens when you have two heroes in the same spot? They're going to stack up, and we're going to figure out how to do that. Not sure how we'll combine them. That's a problem for a different day. I was just thinking, oh god, that's going to be a real problem. I don't know how we'll do that, but we'll do it somehow. Many years from now. This is a long-term project. 5 years is what I always said. Then I had to restart after like 8 months or something to move to Godot. Okay, so first off, what we got to fix is, well, we can go back to here. If we spawn this hero and we move them to here, they disappear out of here and they appear here, which is what we want. But when we put them back, it stops working. So it only works one time. So it's got to be part of this move, reach destination thing. It's supposed to, so this is the bug that we have it on our list here. Oh, I didn't make it here we go. This is done, I think. No, it's like, this is kind of like a feature. Well, we'll mark it closed anyways. And I don't know if I decided to do that yesterday or not. I feel like my thing broke. It may have. Huh. I have a thing that posts when I go live on my Discord, and seems to have stopped working. Oh, wait. No, it just takes an eternity. That's weird. Anyways, whatever. I'm using some third party, one of those little VPS places that whatever. So let's figure this issue out. So it gets to, and so what we got to figure out, is it actually duplicating itself, or is it just this is not being deleted as it should? So when this refreshes, well, we can look here to a point. Well, we already know that. We can't look. So you can't look inside lists at all. With the C# part, even a Godot dictionary wouldn't let me look inside of it, so I just gave up on the Godot dictionaries. Maybe I was doing something wrong. I don't know. But each county has its own dictionary in here, or list in here, that keeps track of the counties, the county population. And since we can't tell, so this is what we could do. We could do a GD print. Well, what is this? What is this GD print saying? Eric is in Wasco. Eric is in Cal. Let's restart this and go like step by step, see what we're getting here. I think maybe the destination's not being updated right. Let's start with a different spot too. Nancy here. We'll go with Nancy. Nancy is in Tillamook. Nancy is in Wasco. And if we click on Wasco, we got that. Then let's move her to here, which is a place we haven't been. And there's already Gerald Nelson is here. Uh, oh, look, it still thinks she's in Tillamook. Tillamook's over here. It's this one. So that's the problem, is somewhere her destination or her current location is not being updated. So that's might be easy. It should be when they reach their destination. We need to update their location. So that's probably the whole problem, is it didn't know where it was coming from. So when it reaches destination, select county. Let's put some comments in here too, because I did this yesterday and I already have forgotten what is going on. Move equals false. That's right. Select county, county population. So this is just to take them off the list. Their destination. The fuck are we? What did we do here? I was in a hurry because I was trying to just finish it up. I don't like these names very much. These names for these variables, because I already forgot what the fuck we're doing here. So we have this select county, and then we're using the county data hero population. So here's the list. We're taking them out of this list, and we're adding them to this other list, but we're not updating where they should know in their hero population where they are. And I think that's the whole issue. So let's see here. Let's do this. Remove them from their starting location list. And then this is like add them to their destination list. And then what we should do, though, actually this should be up here. We're going to organize this code a little bit. Equals, yeah, so this is this one. Just double checking here. Then we need to hit this right before this, probably. We want to go the select county, I believe, has the county data in it. So what we'll do, I mean, obviously it does, it's right there. So what we'll do is this is remove them from their starting location. So we don't actually need to do anything to that. But here, add them to their destination. We need to put, I guess we'll put it right here. Hero, no, we can just do county population. Location equals selected county, county data, county ID. So now it knows where it's at. And I don't know where we're assigning this destination thing, probably when we right clicked. So we have, this is, what is this thing? This is left click, and then this is right click. I like to put a comment here. I know it says left and whatnot, but I like to, so just in case I'm searching for that for some reason, and it makes it painfully obvious that this is right click and left click. Let's just put this in here too. The worst thing that happens is we have too many comments, and who gives a shit, right? Yeah, so here we are. We're assigning the destination when we right click. And so it didn't know where it was coming from. I'm surprised we didn't get a bug where it's like, I don't know what you mean, remove. There's nothing to remove. That was I was eager to jump into this today, because I wanted to, so I'm early, because I want to keep moving forward and getting shit done. All right, so he's marked there. He's not there anymore, which is what we want. Then we'll move him to like this new spot. He disappeared from here, which is what we want, and then he's here. So let's move him around a bunch and see if we can just get some bugs to appear. So currently there should only be one. That's where he started, so it's empty. Yeah, let's spawn like Sam Cooke here and see if he can move around and not get fucked up. Let's move him back to here. Currently, there's no like limits. All right, so that worked. That was it. That was so fucking easy. I hate when that happens because now, well, I love it and hate it because sometimes it's if stuff is too easy, then we have other problems. Get out of here. Get out of here. All right, recruit hero. Yeah, so that's a different bug that I'm kind of dreading that one. Or did we fix it? I don't think we fixed it. Let's see if we can do it. We can do it right here. Yeah. We can't tell that it worked. But it did do something. Well, I guess we could look at the remote. Where was I? Tillamook? Was I not in Tillamook? Oh, you know what we're doing is they're still sitting around in their same oh, this one doesn't have one though. Maybe they're not. I think they should be. No, they all have one. No, Wasco doesn't have one. This is a different issue, but we can fix this too. We just need to move them to their correct spot. It seems like we lost one somewhere in the... Wasco doesn't have one. This has one. This has one. This has one. There should be like a stack on here. I moved it to the other screen. There should be a stack on this one of 3 because we move these guys around. So we just need to move. We need to move their token too. I mean, it's not required. We could just have another list somewhere else where they're spawning, and we can have a list of them. And before I tried that before, and the issue is you start getting like when there's 1 or 2, it's easy. You're like, oh, I know where that guy is, but it starts getting confusing. You know what we could also do to make this less confusing? Let's look at our thing here. We could put another like node 2D right here so we don't have to drill down so far. Since these are not required to be in the same spot, like this is somewhere much farther than it's not physically connected to that thing. We could have like a hero node in each one of these that has the spawn, so just so that we don't have to drill down so far to find the heroes. I think let's see how we're doing this here. I can't remember. Yeah, we're just manually putting that shit in there. So we could just create a new one. We'll just rename this one to something else. Hero spawn location or something. The most important thing I learned yesterday, I think it was yesterday, was always start everything with like a node 2D, and you do the same thing. And well, I didn't do it with this, probably gonna bite me in the ass later. Uh, like you start everything with a control, a Node 2D. Um, we're gonna actually be fucking with this hero token a lot, so I wonder if we might have to do that as well. Uh, put a Node 2D at the top. There's a lot of small little things. So I was thinking about Godot last night, and it reminds me of an indie game with one developer, with all these bizarre choices and weird things that 90% of the time work. And if you look, like when you Google issues, a lot of times half the people are like, no, this thing's broken, it doesn't work. And so the other half are like, no, this is the most amazing part of the, like, if you try to look up a new thing that you're trying to learn, half the people are like, this is the most amazing thing. The other half are, no, it's broken, you can't use it. But they have a workaround. And it's the same as, when you hit this and you go to, no, it's new scene. When you create a new scene and it gives you this user interface thing, every tutorial says not to use that. And it's like, what? Why? It's built in. And you're not supposed to use that. And I tried it, and then it didn't work. So it's just like there's weird shit in here. You just got to get used to all the eccentric keys. But I can totally understand why people go to Unity or Unreal. They give up on all these bizarro things. And I haven't looked at this in a while. Let's see. Yeah, it's continuing to climb. So when I first started, it was at 8,700. All these new people coming in, and they got a lot of closed ones. But the thing that's also weird is some of these are like from 2016, and they need to close those or get rid of them. Like this, they need to say we're not going to fix this and close it. So they need to make a decision and say, like, look, man, we're not gonna fix this in 3.5 or whatever, or switch this issue out of here. So they need to have someone go back to. You can't have issues that are 7 years old. Um, and I think I mentioned this a long time ago, but when I started at my job, there was like years of old issues built. I'm an IT manager, built up. And I just went through the oldest one and said, is this still a problem? And went through all of them until I just messaged the person. And like half of them were gone by the end of the week because people said, like, I don't even know what the fuck this is at this point. Like this guy with this 2016 thing, this person right here, they may not even be using Godot, and this may not be an issue anymore. you know? And like look at all these updates. Like it's either you got to fix it or say you're not going to fix it. Here, this person, this is from this year. It's the same guy. So he's still working on it, and he still has this issue. So we know that this is an important issue for somebody. We need to fix it. And I'm not going to help. I don't know shit. uh, See, he even is putting a solution in. Man. He's so this is the guy who opened the issue 100 years ago. Wow. Anyways, so this is the guy who put in the issue 100 years ago, and he's saying because obviously other people have the issue too, but he actually put in like, hey, either document this shit or do something, and he's getting all these up, but just do something. So, anyways, I feel like that is a bad sign that there's so many issues that are so old. They just need to do something with them. Um, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, you got to get used to the jank, but I can also totally understand why people say, nope, I'm the fuck out of here, uh, and not working on it. Now, my issues are self-made. I'm a self-made man. My code is the problem. Um, anyway, what the fuck were we working on before I got sidetracked here? We are working on. We fixed that. We are going to recruit a hero. Yeah. No, that's not what we're gonna do. Let's put in here. We'll put a node 2D in. We'll go through these four and rename them. We're gonna go through. I'll save that. I gotta look into scene inheritance to make this maybe easier. I looked into it a little bit, and people were saying that was back to this. Like half the people were saying scene inheritance is broken, don't use it, and then the other half were saying it's the most amazing thing ever. And if so, and then this is another thing is like the documentation is bad for Godot. People always say it's really good, but it's not. It's bad. If you look at Reddit comments, like once again, half the people are saying the documentation is amazing. It is not amazing. It's bad. We're gonna add a new child here, and we're gonna just add a node 2D. Now that I'm done shit talking, uh, hero. We're gonna call this heroes. Heroes. Heroes? Heroes. That's what we're going to call that. And we're going to put this. We're also going to fuck with our hero token today. Because we need, for our stacking, or because we're going to do stacking next, because obviously you can't tell that there's another hero in here. Then those are all saved. Then we're just going to drag this over here. Oh, no, we're not. We're not going to do that. That will fuck shit up. What we're going to do is we're going to add a new one. The spawn location. Oh, we'll just put it at the bottom. I'm very anal about my order of shit. Node 2D. Node 2D. I guess. No, that's not what we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it the hero's parent. Heroes. Yeah, we'll just call it hero's parent, and we'll figure out how this is gonna work. So I'm not sure. I haven't done this before, so I don't think I have. All we want to do is when it gets spawned. So let's go back to our original thing, which is this button. And that will be our first test. This thing. That's the scene. It's called like hero. I really got to figure out a better naming convention for this shit. I finally had it down in Unity, and now I'm back to rethinking how I got to do. Because I'm always searching for stuff. That's the start of every stream. Is where is this code that I put somewhere? I thought it was right here. It is it's this code is what I want. Hero list button. Where do you live, hero list button? You're in here. There, that makes sense. All right, so when this thing is spawn, yeah, so see, this is not what we want. This actually works, though. Where is this thing? This is in the hero list button, which is on this thing. How are we attaching that to, where does it know to get that shit? Because we can't drag that over there because it's not instantiated yet when we're at that point. We need hero spawn parent. Where beeth you? It's right here. So it add. Let me try to think. You know what we can do instead, actually? Is we could just take this out of here. What's going to happen if we do that? If we just put this as a sibling. Get out of here. Go and become a sibling, motherfucker. Uh, we can get rid of this one. Oh, I see what's going to happen. So that was why I had this as a child. Maybe it's not worth fucking with right now. Yeah, it might not be worth fucking with. We might just drill down for now. Hmm. Yeah, let's just not fuck with it for now. We'll put a thing in, and maybe we won't care. Uh, this is one of those executive decisions. How much time is this going to take, and how is this going to change in the future? Type thing. Like it might, we might be changing a bunch of other stuff. But right now, this is just in this spot, so that's who gives a shit. It'll be fine. We'll put a note in though. Um, maybe have a node that is higher on the hierarchy. Oh, you're not gonna tell me how to spell that, fucker. Hierarchy. Maybe have a node that is higher up on the hierarchy, so you don't have to drill down so far to see where the heroes are in the remote inspector. I gotta put some exact things. The description has to be so I can remember what it is later. All right, did we break some shit? I probably did break some shit. Man, it's already 10 or 11:30 in the morning on a Sunday. All right, so I think what we can do though. Oh no, we're getting bugs. I think I dragged something over here. Hero's parent doesn't matter. That was under select county. We don't need this anymore. Where's your problem? Native call, node extension, select county 17. Well, that would have been around here. Oh, because I renamed this. Hero spawn location. Easy enough. As long as I make that match. No more bugs. I guess we should spawn one. Juan Stewart. Very similar to John Stewart. Let's click on one of these guys and make a move. Okay, that is working. But what we want to do now is when they get to destinations, we want to move them to the. I think we can just add them. Let's do it right before this. Move them to the node 2D. The hero spawn location and node 2D. Core is spawning to the county. And we can fix this. This text is much smaller. I need a suggestion here, buddy. Maybe, did I do this the other day? I feel like I did this the other day, and I was like, this is kind of pointless because it doesn't give you a suggestion. It just tells you it's wrong. Core is spawning. As you can tell, I can't spell at all. This thing that is the autocorrects in browsers has helped me so much with my spelling. All right, so let's see if this will work the way I think it will. We're gonna do select county. Is this where this thing lives? Yeah. It's kind of a dumb name, but now that we changed stuff, heroes spawn, add child. Whoa, look at that. Well, that's annoying. Then we needed to do. We don't know what. We don't know the. It doesn't know. We have the county stuff, but we don't have the node thing that it is. We don't have. We're not keeping track of that anywhere. So we should. Wind, how's it going? It's going good. I'm almost done, right? So we're gonna keep track of this thing. Probably county in the county population. We'll keep track of its actual. I don't like that export group. Well, that'll be fine. So what we'll do is, what is this thing? I don't think it's a node 2D. I think it's something else. Yeah, it's a sprite, or it's a character body 2D. Character body 2D, and this is going to be its actual token, which, you know what we can do? I don't know why I care about this, but I always try to have as little number of variables as possible. We can get rid of this is spawn if we're going to keep this. Unless we want to make them invisible when we unspawn them instead of deleting them. And we probably want to just delete them. So what we can do, we're going to get rid of this. And I'm going to put the word delete here so that I can find it again. So what we're going to do instead is when where's this button thing? Right here. We're going to go county population token equals. Then we're going to find I think this is the complete word thing we want to turn off. We're going to go that was false, right? Null. I'm going to copy this. Yeah, that is. So if this is null now, it will look. We'll just null it. We'll just, instead of having a bool, we'll just check if it's null, and then we'll delete it when we despawn it, and then we'll know it's not spawned. And in fact, let's go back to this thing. Well, not this thing. I mean, we could just do this right here. I got started early today. Just thinking about it, so I also like run D&D games occasionally. I'm not right now, but um, I like to like think about the world. And I was saying this yesterday too. Like I keep all these like cool ideas pop up that are way down the game development, like a fucking 100 years from now. I'm gonna be able to like, oh, here's this feature I thought of. But that also makes me, want to work on the code because I get burned out on stuff really fast. Like if you looked at my video game channel, it's like I play one game for 2 hours and I'm like, nope, done with this. It could be the best game in the world. Starfield, I played for about 2 hours. I didn't stream it. I wanted to check it out ahead of time. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go county population token, and we're gonna just add this over here, and hopefully this works how I think it will work. And then we're gonna find this thing again, and this is gonna be busted. Let's just comment this out, and then we'll break this shit, and then we'll fix the broken shit. We're not even gonna comment it out. We're just gonna delete it. Got a little too excited with my deleting there. We're just gonna get rid of it. Fuck it. Now we should get some issues here. We're gonna have to come back to this part too and fix. We don't need this. We're gonna fix some shit with this right here. This whole. I think I got rid of this Godot dictionary actually. Yeah, I did. This is a list. I don't know why. Let's do it. Let's make this consistent here. Okay, so this is this is equal. So the way we did this, and this is where we're able to get rid of an if statement here because of Wynn's help yesterday. So this is going to be, now we have to put it back in, sadly. I don't know, actually. Let's see, is there a way to like bool to null? Like if it's null, it's false? No, I don't want to assign a null value to, I don't want to do that. C#, if it is null, then it is false. How old is this? It's kind of crazy how old some of these are. 13 years ago. Uh, if statements accept only as bool, Yoda comparisons. I think it's fairly reasonable to assume that null means false. Not in C#. False is a Boolean struct, a value type. Value type's going to have a null value. Yeah, if you wanted to do that, well, you'd have a crease. Yeah, we don't want to do that shit. We'll just put this. We'll just say, whoops, if hero dot token equals null, which it will the most of the time, I think, equals 2. And we'll take this. I guess, I'm trying to retrain myself. I know I say this every stream and then I don't do it. I'm trying to do. I got a lot of extra spaces here. All right. So now let's see if we broke. What we've broke. I would like to make my code unbreakable. That's my dream. Is that it always fixes itself. Of course, that's impossible. All right, so we changed two things though. So let's see here. 46. Yeah, it's this thing. What is the error? I wasn't sure how this would work. If we have to like remove child or something? Already has a parent. Okay, so I think we have to remove it first. I wonder how we do that. We probably have to tell it. Well, let's look it up. Godot, remove parents. I think I did this. And another thing. What I'm wondering is if there's a way. If there's a way, is Q free removes it? Now that deletes the whole thing. That's not what I want. I want so that what I'm wondering if there's well, we'll just what we'll do. We'll just fucking type it in here. County population. Like, can we just say remove? Fuck. I was hoping remove parent was a thing, because we don't. Then we wouldn't have to know what the parent was. We could just say to stop, get out of here. Uh, all right. So we'll just get the parent. Um, do we have that? We have the select county. Get parent. Remove child. Oh, is that what you do? Get parents. Uh, we know what it is. Oh, except it's not the county population. It's the token, but that's the same. We go like this. I know what we do. So that's one of those things I always feel like it's wrong when I do that kind of weird get parent, like where I like go up and, it seems like that is wrong. I have another one of those that I'm doing that. This is wrong too. We want. Then down here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly when we're on the same wavelength. Um, it's weird how delayed the messages are. I was wondering about that again, wondering why that is with Twitch. I mean, I know they got to encode the video and then they got to send it out, but it still seems unusually long. And then I was wondering, and it's probably true that it's probably the more people who are viewing it, the less the time. Um, the time it takes. Joker was saying one day that on his side it was 45 seconds, which is an unusually that's a long time if you think about it. Like behind, because then he sees it 45 seconds, then he's got to respawn and stuff. Um, Okay, so this guy is going to be removed, and then this I'm going to move up here. I'm going to move it to right here. And then I'm going to cut this and put and, then go to here. Instant's good. Then we can get rid of this crap. And you know, I'm going to put a thing in here just so that we know what this is later because of my horrible, look at this. Destination. My horrible memory. Fresh the list of heroes so that they are. So refresh the list of heroes beneath the county info panel. All right. So now let's see how this puppy flies. I don't like this song while we wait for that. I swear this takes less time too than Unity to get the game running. I mean, I know you can. It's running in the inspector. What are you doing down there? What you doing over there? All right, I gotta skip this song. Global to local position. I don't actually want their position to change at all. I just want them to correspond when we're in remote to. So I want the hero. Where did I move him last? Cowlitz. I want the hero tokens to be here. All of them. Oh, this one went away, so that part worked. Oh, they're all gone. We just have one. I guess we only should have one. There's only one spawn. So that worked, but I wonder why it's. It's probably that scale thing. This one shouldn't be. This thing shouldn't be scaled, though. Yeah, it's not. Um, is it Cowlitz is where I put it the last time? Whoops. Oh. Needs to fix its as the new parent is the different position. Token needs to fix its position as the new parent is its different position. Huh. It doesn't make any sense why it would be different. Um, so I guess let's try this out then. As we reach destination, yeah. token. I don't know if it's global or not, but we can do select county, heroes spawn, and then we'll see if this does. I might have to do global, but maybe that will make more sense. Um, the global imposition. I mean, I understand what it is. I just don't understand the why it's such a weird thing in this. Why it's constantly an issue. Um, yeah. Uh, so that's interesting. Let's see. What are they in? This is Wasco. Let's go with, this is let's put the global position here. Okay, so the global position is way over here. Why? Fuck. Why? Let's put this global just to see here, because they just to see. We're gonna keep doing the same. We'll try it again after we get one working. Hmm. Where are we at? We're going to Wasco. Yeah, so the thing that weirds me out is it doesn't show the global position. Well, this thing's global position is here. Let's see. But then it's not going to show you this thing's global position. We could put a variable in, I guess, if we really cared, but why not just use global position all the time? Um, yeah, it's at 0, which is, 0 to this thing, which is -20, which is, or have the global position all the time and then parentheses the local position. It's very bizarre to me. It's probably somebody with developer brain made that. I'm not going to get into developer brain again, but all right, so that works. Let's move this thing around. Let's do this. Let's restart this, and then let's move it like a bunch, but and also not start in the first, because we just got to make sure that maybe that was a fluke. A fluke, as we know. Okay, so we got Louise Parker parked here. We'll double check that the other stuff is working. It still is working. We'll go to our remote. This is Wasco, and there they are. And then you know what we also could do to make this even better for later when when we have 50 fucking tokens and we can't figure out who the fuck is who. What we can do is actually we'll do this a different way. Do we have their name? No, we won't do it that way. Yeah, we won't do it that way. We'll do it this way. We're gonna go spawn hero equals I was thinking if there's a better way to do this stuff above. Thank you, Wind, by the way. It's not a capital. It's not a. Why do you like this? Do I have a typo in here? County population. Oh, I got the wrong. I got the wrong select thing. County population first name plus. Yep. But we want to put. Oh, that is it. Okay, we're good. Because most of the time you really want to move local space. Well, why wouldn't they do it the opposite of what I said then? Have the local space and then in parentheses the global space, and then Spectre. I just feel like it should show both. If you're having two different things that are constantly different, that are constantly causing issues. Um, so then I think if we just refresh this, this will be easy to check. I just want to, we'll assign, well, I'm just trying to change the name of the token so we can know who's where. We haven't spawned anybody yet, though. We're going to spawn somebody. Then, was that Portland? Portland? Where did I spawn this person? Portland. Joyce Bell. We're going to do some squigs here. I'm going to put a space in there is what I'm going to do. And so you have the solar system and sun is 0 and you want space station to orbit GL coding it in global space. Um, let's spawn. We'll do cowlets. That seems to be Jose Haywire. Um, and there he is. Okay. So actually, let's do a bunch of them. Let's spawn all heroes everywhere. We haven't done this at all, and then we only should be able to move one around at a time. It'll be a little difficult to move guys around until we get our stacking feature in here. All right, now we move these guys all over the place. We don't have any bugs. Let's see here. Cowlitz has. I'm gonna move this to the other screen. Cowlitz has Margaret Reed. So we see that's right. And Jose Haywire should be in Portland. And he is. And then we have nobody in Tillamook, and we have nobody in Tillamook. Then we have Barbara and Anthony over here. All right. Except it says they're not spawned. Jose isn't spawned either. I think our null thing isn't working right. The thing I changed earlier. Okay, so that was right here. You know what it's not here though. We got rid of that one thing. This is only The moving around. Um, it's so part of it is I already figured all this out in Unity, so I'm just like moving it over from in my brain. We're gonna copy over some code from Unity. I'm a little worried the code from Unity is gonna be all fucked up though because it's sometimes it's not even worth doing that because of all the different game object bullshit. Uh, it's because I got rid of that is spawn thing. Okay, so this is where the signal is, which is working, but what I need here's the hero button. But where are we instantiating this shit from? I can't remember already. That's gonna be under. I guess we have to look over here. We are instantiating this. We hit the hero button. It is on here. That's where it's spawning, but what about it's going through? It's not on there. It's under this. Here we go. If hero token equals null, so it's going through. It's finding every hero. Well, that's what I was worried that like we're not assigning this right. When I spawn it, it should be right there. Let's do this under here. This is going to happen 150,000 times. So when we click on here, it should be empty because we haven't spawned anything. But then Emily Washington, is that the name? What is the name of Washington's wife? She had some name like that. Then we click on here. I bet you something else is turning it off again. So it's not null. What else we can do is I think something else is because this happened to us before. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? There we go. With a typo. Are they different? They should be the same. This is getting a county population. It's just called hero to make life confusing. We could rename that. This is just county. That was just there to make life confusing. I think my thought process was, oh, these are heroes, so we should. Um, fuck. There's a better way to do this. It's all so. This should be if it is not equal to null, and then true. Oh, I was gonna say we don't need an else, but we do actually need an else because we need to turn it off if we get rid of it. I see what's happening. But we can do one of those return things that everyone was telling me to do all the time. Uh, we should actually make this the other way because it's going to be null most of the time. Uh, I think. I think you're going to want to not have your heroes. I think you're going to want to have your heroes working with the population most of the time. And you'll only be spawning them when you want. Well, some heroes will and some heroes won't. Uh, why am I doing this? Why am I making my life difficult? I guess that doesn't need to be there. When have I already asked you this? Are you working on a game? I feel like I asked Joker and he's not. And I feel like you guys are so knowledgeable. You should be. Uh, all right, so that's how we want that. Maria Cook. That's my wife. My last name's Cook. Yeah, it was just that one thing. I think. Uh-oh. Well, she's gone. Somehow I fucked up their list. I think it was working. It was working perfectly. So it's got to be in this reach destination when I was fucking around with these children. Maybe I deleted something. Remove them from their starting location. Let's go back and see where this started. Like immediately, the exact spot where this happened. Uh, yeah, I flake out and stuff a lot. It's like a huge issue of mine. Uh, honestly, and streaming helps me keep on track. So supposedly he's gone here, but he's not getting added to this list, and I think that's the problem. Is once we add him to this list. So what is happening? Let's make sure that he got there. So he got there. He's in. Well, let's go back. Where is he at? He is in Tillamook. Yeah, he's not getting added to the list, right? Earlier, or yesterday, I was worried about him being removed from the list too soon. Like we needed to maybe add him to the one list first, then remove him from the old list. But that wasn't a problem earlier, but maybe now it's become a problem. Let's look at this select county here. So this is select token. And this is just gets the parent and the select tokens on the parent. Select county. Are we getting any bugs? No. Select county is the county's parents. Now, what I was thinking maybe it was happening and I wasn't noticing after we added this location, but no, it was. It definitely wasn't happening after we fixed the original bug. Uh, so it's gonna go through. It may be on the list. We can't check that. We can do a count on the list. It may be that thing actually that we just messed with. This may be wrong now. Let's go back. Let me copy this. Before I rename this county population thing, I'm curious. Go back faster. Uh, Maybe there was one. Oh, there's a return in there. Is that what the problem was? Can we go forward now? I don't know. I don't know the hotkey for going forward because I never use the. I'm always going back, never returning. Oh, the okay, I got you. I thought it would just get out of that if statement, not the loop. Is this as far as we got? We can go forward more. Look at there's my typing. Go go. Click it as fast as I can. You ever do that in video games where you gotta like hold the mouse and go like this? Oh, you do continue? Continue. I never heard of that. Learning something new every day. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she was somewhat new, and she was just like, "Do you ever like get tired of just learning something new every fucking day?" Like she was talking about work, obviously, and I was like, "Yes." Sometimes when I first started as an IT manager, it was like 10 things a day, and there are there's days where you just want fuck. I want to. Oh, I don't want to learn anything anymore. All right, let's do this. Obviously, if I was in that mood, I would not be streaming video game creation. I'd probably be playing a video game. All right, so there they are. Ryan Lopez, is that this guy's name? He is. It is. Well, we know his first name. Let's teleport him. Well, not. We'll run him real fast. I'm curious if these guys are going to be moving so fucking slow, like on the map as time passes. Like imagine if you walked from here to here. It's going to take days. Um, Anyways, for the testing, we don't need him to move that. All right, everything seems good there. I guess we weren't working on a thing. We were fixing other things. So now we're gonna do the recruit hero. How much time has passed? Holy shit, another hour. Um, that's a good question. That is a good question. That's gonna be a bug that we're gonna have to fuck with that. It doesn't. Wait, no. Uh, but pausing does not. We're gonna have to figure out what the deal with that is. But that's next. I want to recruit. Well, that's not next. What is the list here? You can tell how much I don't want to mess with it. Oh, I wanted this to be a little higher. In fact, this should be next. We got to figure out. We need to figure out when this is generating. Uh, Then we'll do recruit hero. So there, our test should be when we're testing stuff. This one should start out empty. But yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break. Then I will be back in less than 5 minutes. Let me pause my music that you guys can't hear. All right, be right back. Okay. Um, let's see. I got to get back to here. Got to turn off the break timer. Multi-movement speed with time scale should fix that. Physics loops at constant interval, independent from time scale or something like that. There, yeah, I was trying to find that. Uh, that's under the clock, I think. I was trying to find that a while ago, uh, because uh, Unity has a way to look at this. What is this? No, ready. Jesus, I thought that was the Unity thing. Unity has a thing where you can put one in it. One does one thing, and you multiply it by fixed like this, and it corresponds to the engine time, to the time scale. Uh, I guess we could work on this right now. It's like there's two different ones, and I was wondering if Godot had the same thing. There's like process time, and then there's yeah, so there's fixed delta time in Unity, and then there's delta time. And so if you put stuff like fixed delta time, it corresponds, and it doesn't correspond uh, other times. So you got to use the right one. I don't think this corresponds at all, or if I'm even changing the right one. It doesn't really seem to matter. Longer ones, easier to tell. That's going real fast. Like, yeah, I don't know if this matters. So we did a test, or Joker did a test, and it, you can change some stuff. So these do not do the thing that I would think they would do. But if we're going to change the speed that way, we can do it. If that's all it is. It's weird, though, because I want everything to pause at the same time. Yeah, let's fuck with this later. Everything needs to pause, not just movement. Like, everything, you should still be able to interact with panels so you can look at stuff, but there's other things that need to be pausing as well. So I think I'm gonna have to look in. Well, we'll probably get to that. I hope. Yeah, these are, well. Who knows if we'll do that one last though? Because fuck the time thing. Time is always such a pain in the ass. Do not generate leader if there's already a faction leader. Okay, so this is under our population generation. If hero equals false, it creates one. But that's not what we want. How did we do this? Uh, or I think that means it's false. We don't need to fuck with that right now. That's unimportant. So it runs this. So let's see. If it's true, it's going to use a different. We're going to get different population numbers. That's why this is set up this way. So we're going to get one hero, which is your leader. One hero, which is your leader. There's two different things. So there's independent counties, and then there's like AI population or AI capitals. If hero equals false, it adds it to this list, and if it equals true, it adds it to that list. So that's not where the problem is. Where we got to do this is when we generate these right here. We got to say both these are going to have a if faction leader equals true or whatever. So on our county population, no. Our faction, well, what happens if they own 3? Let's save this because I fuck with something. Faction data, we're going to have to keep this. And we're going to have to change how this whole thing is. So at the beginning, you're only generating faction leaders. And they only are going to do it in their capitals. These guys get their own little faction leader. We could, let's see. We can take this out of here. Let's copy this. Let's comment this out just temporarily. Did I get rid of my break timer? I did. Like I was saying yesterday, I haven't forgotten to do that in a long time, so I feel like it's going to happen sooner. We'll comment this out too. How is this going through? This is going through all of the counties. I don't think we need this right now because that's working. We probably don't need this. That we're not even using this anymore. We probably won't. Yeah, so we didn't set this up. We didn't plan ahead. I didn't plan ahead. Uh, I don't think we're gonna need this actually. So when we generate the original thing, there's only every faction is gonna start out with a faction leader and no other heroes. You have to like recruit them. And then the other thing that's gonna happen is we'll probably only start out with one county. So this is probably not even necessary, but I want just in case we want to start games with multiple, like each player starts with multiple counties or something. That's why I want to put this in here. So when it's going through, we're going to have it generate by faction though, but not by, let's see, if we go, so it actually would be under here. It would be under this. If it's their, because it's not going to generate, no, it wouldn't be under there. It would be under, so it goes through, we don't keep track of what the faction's capital is. I wonder if we should be doing that. Probably we should at some point. This is a resource. This is where we got rid of this stupid shit. That's gone. We're gonna need this research items at some point. All right, so we can go through every county and we can say, hey, this is the every county needs to have a faction leader unless it's already has a faction leader. Um, that's pretty much what we need to do. Every county needs to have a faction, so we can do another one of these for. We go through first and we assign all the heroes, and then we go through and we assign all the normal population. We can just do it twice. We're already doing it once though, so I feel like we should be able to just put it right here. If does the county know what faction it's in? It does. So if data faction leader is equal to null, then we are going to generate a hero. And then the look at this. I think we fixed this so that it counts better later. Generate population. Okay, so we're having it. We don't want to do it this way anymore. Well, I guess we have to have a number in here. So 1 is fine. That's a 1. There's a 1 in there. If hero is false, it does that. If it's true, it adds it to this other list. There isn't going to be an else, but well, I mean, we don't really need one, but I'm going to put a GD print in here because this should happen once. There already is a faction leader. So it's going through every county. Where does it assign these counties to? Where are we assigning uh, the faction to the county data dot faction? I don't know if we even are. Let's see what happens. I don't think we are. That feels like something we need. Uh, okay, so it's always null. Because I'm trying to think, maybe we should do it by faction. We should do it by faction, actually. Let's cut this. It should be by faction. It shouldn't be by county. That it's just a better way to do it by faction. So we'll do create and you know the faction leaders aren't the player's faction leader is not going to um it's not gonna be generated creation. It's not gonna be generated randomly where you're gonna create a character at some point, but I hate doing that part. So it's very tedious. Now we need a void in here. All right, so then it's gonna go. We're gonna have it. We can just do it for each, and then we're gonna also need to assign it to the correct list. But for each, where our faction list is it over here? I think. Where are we storing our faction list? It should be in here, I feel like. We got some list of names. Uh, is it faction data? It's under faction generation. Wonder why we put it there. Oh, I remember why now. We kind of split some stuff up. And I think it needed to be like down one for the right order to happen. All right, so this is going to be, it should be a list of faction data that we're creating. Wonder why this isn't all fucked up. I guess it's, with our resource things. It isn't fucked up, so for each faction data in, it's not globals, it's under faction generation, instance factions. We want to create a population here. And then down here in generate population, we already kind of have it there. But where's it going to know this county data? Where are we assigning that? It's not gonna. It's gonna be null because we're doing it right there. So we need to know. So when we generate these leaders, because we're going to do it by faction, not by county. I mean, we could go through each county and say, "Hey, is this thing that just seems weird though?" Because I think there's also going to be other faction generation stuff. And it actually almost seems like this should be under faction generation, where we create the faction leaders. We should move this over there. Where's this county population? We should probably move this actually to this faction generation. I feel like that's where shit should be. This is all unready, huh? This is one of the earlier things written. The only problem with that is we're gonna have to make this an instance of this thing to generate it. And then we're like having a bunch of shit intertwined. All right, we'll put it back here. We'll see how painful it is later. And really, I keep thinking it's probably better to go through each county and say, like, is there a leader? But that's such a weird way to do it. And if let's say we do have it so that every faction has two things, because that is a possibility that things are going to change. So I guess we'll do it through here. But we need to know what their capital is then, because that's where the guy's going to be generated at. He's only going to be generated at their capital. So if we're going to do that, then the faction data probably has to have know what its capital is. And that is going to be the county data, I believe. And we have another bool here. If we go through and we say it's these two. Oh, you know how we could do it to make it really to go back to make this really easy. But it's probably not the best way to do it. Let's think about this and see if this works. I think actually yeah, what we would do actually is just that. That's all we would have to do. Let's see. My music is very low and I don't even know what this is. Oh, it's a live album, is why it's all fucked up. Goddamn live albums. I just don't understand why they gotta always be suggesting live albums. All right. I thought this lady's name was Susan Howard. This is my old coworker. Oh, we got a debug thing here. What? Oh, we had that call deferred in there. Uh, where did I put that thing? We might come back to that. See, this one should have it. So yeah, my idea here didn't work. What we need to do is, where'd that go? So on here, so the issue I'm having in my brain where I'm thinking we're going to have a problem later is it's going down a list, right? And it currently hits them in the right order, but what happens when it doesn't hit them in the right order? It's going to assign the wrong county to the wrong, the leader to the wrong county. We should probably do it right instead of just make it work. Uh, that's probably what we should do. Yeah, let's do it right instead of just make it currently work. We'll get rid of this thing because we don't need the is faction leader was something from it was from when we do this later when I had it working in Unity a different way. We'll do so. Let's do this. What do I got on my clipboard? Well, there we go. We're gonna go back. We're gonna comment this out again. So it's going to go through each faction, which then it's going to generate one dude. I don't think that's going to work because it doesn't know what county we're putting it in. Uh, 131. Yeah, it doesn't know what county it needs to be added to. Uh, so how are we getting this county data here? We need we need to the faction needs to know what its capital is, and that's why we're baby stepping this shit, is just to make sure that we have all the information. It's going to be kind of weird though, because it's the faction will know the county and the county will know the faction. I don't know if that's because so that's a loop, and I don't know if that's a problem. The other way we could do it is we could put in the county data that it is the faction leader or the faction capital. um, then we would go through all of the counties and we would say, you need a faction leader, you need a faction leader, whatever, whatever. Um, we didn't, I don't think in Unity I ever determined, I just had like some way, I was just going through the list and it was happening in the right order. So it was good enough for that. But I don't really want to do that. I want to try to plan ahead a little bit. And these things mean something different. So player capital is like a starting location that's going to have 10, well, right now it's 10 people in the population. AI capital is it's going to have 10 people in the population. But each state is going to have a capital. I can't remember why we need to differentiate. because later we're gonna assign the leaders, so that's why we need to differentiate. Uh, I'll put a thing here just in case. Differentiate. Differentiate. That's not how you spell that. Let's do my good old. You know what's crazy is browsers are much better for spell checking than like Word is. Differentiate. You figure that would, after the 150 years that Word's been around, between player chosen capitals and AI capitals. For generation after player creation. Hopefully that makes sense to me later. So I think in the county data, because I don't want to have that loop of data that's going through. The only problem with that is that we would have to go through every county. We'd have to go through every county regularly to find the capitals if we needed to. While in if we just looked at the faction, there's a way to do this with the county ID. That's how we do it. We say we put it in the faction. We go faction name, faction color. I guess we can make this an export. It doesn't matter. Public int county faction capital county. And then when we generate, we'll assign we're going to need to assign that somehow. So let's go back to our county generation thing. Okay, we just have population generation on here. I wonder if I have that name somewhere. We'll find out soon enough. So when it goes through here, right now we don't have states or provinces in play. So I think we might just have to assign this manually for right now. And then we'll make a note of it. But once we have provinces, we'll be like, hey, this is a capital, this is a capital. I'm trying to think of the easiest. Well, we could. Right now, we're just going to have to assign this manually. And how we're going to do that is. Where's our. Do we have a faction resource here? It would work if we just went through, but it would break later. Manual obviously is going to break too. No. This is 0. Fucking clicking on stuff doesn't work. What? Okay. Faction 1 is this one, and it has 0. Faction, I'm trying to think if there's a better better way to do this. There probably is. We're definitely going to put a note on in here. This is this one, and then that's that one. This is not a capital of anyone. Then we got to put a note in here, I think. Faction leaders are generated and assigned to the faction capital. The faction capital is manually assigned in the faction data, which is trash. That's a horrible thing to do. But we also have the factions assigned that way too. It's all temporary stuff to get through the shit. Okay, so back to this. We're gonna go, and then we're gonna say, what do we got over here? County's parents, which we actually have. This needs to be up here. I just made this more convoluted. Faction dot, no. Oh, I did call it faction data. Faction capital county. But we need this to be county data equals county. Oh, there's a select county on here. We need select county first. I have it all right down here somewhere. I could have just copied this shit. I guess we'll do this. Whoops. Copy, not delete. I think I went over something. I did. I went over the population thing. Okay, so it's going to go through. Let's look at this again here. It's going to go through every faction in the faction list that's under the faction generation thing. It's going to generate a population, which is the instance hero population is 1. I mean, we could just put 1 in here. Let's just put 1 in. We're going to hard code 1 in here. And because that's fucking stupid, but there's never going to be more than 1 faction leader. Then let's go back to here. Then let's go back to here. Then it's going to get the select county by getting the parents of the faction county capital, which we manually typed in, which is fucking insanity, but that's how we're doing it right now. County data equals select, and so it's getting that from this. And then this needs to actually be, this needs to be down here. This needs to be down here. It needs to be down here. And then it adds the population to the county data population. I think we're gonna get some bugs, but we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta get things rolling. Man, almost another hour has passed. Now we got a bug. 32. I'm wondering if this is happening before. I can't remember the order. I think it goes up from the bottom. So it's trying to do this before the factions are generated. I wonder if we had that in an order. We probably did. There's probably a reason that was in that order, but let's see what happens. It's the same. Whoops. Uh, it's interesting that we have the random colors assigned down here. 32. What happens if we make this faster? I think it's gonna make it worse, but that's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to make it worse before you can make it better. What? Um, oh, it's not doing anything. We just skip the. All right, it's the same issue, so I guess we could leave this here out of laziness and see, because we might want to switch back and forth again. Um, I'll make sure everything's in its spot here. Guess we can't do that. It's saying it's here, though. Select county. County's parent, and I didn't mess with the county. Well, it still could be. Get child. I just think it's not it's happening too quickly. I really think that it's always the issue with these sort of generation things. So, trying to think of how we can test this. What we could do. So these things, the faction data, that's being generated here. Faction generation. I don't have this open. There it is. So the faction generation is happening after, so there is no list yet. It's reading all those from disk. Wonder where that is. That in here? Yeah, so it's there. It's getting past that part. Where's my faction data resource here? Two is 3, and 1. So maybe it's something else. Because it actually gets past that part. The faction, it's after that, probably because of the call deferred. Get child. What we can do here is GD print capital ID. Whoops. Oh, maybe no, this should be an int. It should be okay. I was like, maybe we need to cast it or something. Whoops. It probably would have said invalid cast, though. So it gets to the first one. And at 0, it's got to be this county parents thing. Oh, we don't have this assigned. I thought I was dragging that county's parents into there. We don't. It's right here. What we could do. Jesus Christ. I wonder if that's going to be called deferred. Jesus Christ. $23. Now it's this thing. It's too fast. It's too fast. That's why it's probably down here. Because the globals doesn't exist yet. Globals doesn't exist yet because it's up at the top. And we can't put globals in the other thing because you can't drag shit in there. Okay. All right, so that worked. Let's spawn one. And everything else is still working. So Jesus Christ. What an easy fix. That all right. You know what I didn't just check? Oh, I stopped it. Let's run this again. Let's make sure that this has a number. Okay, this number is wrong. This number is wrong. Wait. It could be right. What did we assign here? We put 10, which is going to be 9, I think. No, it's not. It's going to be 10. That's wrong. It doesn't have the right. It doesn't have the right. Here's the issue. I'm not sure why I was zeroing that out. And I saw that earlier and I was like, I wonder why I was doing that. There's probably a reason we were doing it. There's usually a reason. So we'll see here. Yeah, that's 11, 11, 4, to... Okay, so that is all correct. Let's go back to here. And this is done. Then, recruiting a hero. This shouldn't, well, gotta stop saying this shouldn't be that hard, because then we find out it's very hard. So what we need in this population description panel, let's turn this puppy on. Exactly. I said it was gonna be easy, and now we're fucked. We're gonna put a button on here. That's what we're gonna do. We are going... This is that same. So in the Unity one, I had the button like right here, right next to the close button. They were touching, and it was too easy to click, accidentally click the wrong one. So I moved it, and I think we'll actually put it in this V box and see what happens. I don't think I've ever put a button in a V box thing. So we just want a normal old button. And then we want some words, or a word. And then we got to do this. I've done this a bunch of times now, so I feel like I should remember container sizing. We want this to be like that, except we want a minimum size here. Here it is. What's its current size? 31, huh? Let's do 50. No. This is our 50. This is our 75. What size is this close button? Let's make this consistent. Is this close button just some random... Oh, it's just some... Guess we're not going to make it consistent right now. I mean, we could. It's going to fuck everything up, though. All the other close buttons are now a different size. I gotta like create a theme or some shit for these. We're gonna do so many changes to things. The UI just needs to be functional right now more than anything else. We're gonna call this recruit button, and it's gonna have a signal to run some code. Let's add no, not a child node. Let's add a script here. I think, yeah, we'll do this. Recruit button is what we want, but I don't want it to be here. I want it to be here. Here. So that's one reason to do it that way. The reason I usually don't do it that way is I was curious if like it would assign the correct thing at the top, etc., etc. That's one way to do it that way, or one reason to do it that way. Okay. So basically, when we recruit a guy, all we're going to do is take him off one list and put him on another list. It's, well, it's going to be a little more complicated than that, actually. Um, let's do this through. I was about to half-ass it again. I was about to say, like, no, let's just have it do this. But no, we got to put in, like, are you sure you want to recruit this guy? Um, it's too. I don't know how many times I've complained about when I'm clicking away on a video game and been like, "What the fuck? I accidentally just did something." Uh, that happened to me like yesterday. It's like, man, they really got to ask, "Are you sure for everything?" So I can't. I gotta practice what I preach. So we're gonna put another. We're gonna have another window up here that will say, "Are you sure you want to recruit Bill Smith or whatever the fuck their name is?" And we're going to want it to be a child of this thing, I believe. Not this thing, but of this description panel. So you can close the whole thing. You can just bail out, I suppose. Yeah, and then we'll have closing do the same thing. If you, oh, I don't want, if you're like, oh, I didn't want to do that. This is going to be a panel container that is not that big. We're going to have it definitely centered, so those things are right. We're gonna want it. I'm wondering, I'm gonna take a quick break. Let me take a quick break real quick. Quick break real quickly. Quickly take a real break quickly. Oh, it has a thing? It has a confirmation dialog box? Great. Man. All right, I'm gonna quickly take a quick break quickly. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Starting music. Turning off break timer. Uh, Adding node. They've probably mentioned this cat. Why does it look like that? Let's look at this thing. So I let any stray cat that wants to come into my house come into my house, and and what is this weird thing? Is it what is it acting this way? It's in the wrong spot for one. So I take care of this cat, and it's just a stray. I let any stray cat into my house, and so um, it has to be a child of the button. Uh, and it was sick, and so I texted its real owners, and I was like, "Hey, you gotta take care of this cat," and they captured it. I mean, it just runs around outside. And they took care of it. So it hasn't been around for like a week. And I used to be friends with all the crows in my neighborhood, but they took off when the cat showed up, obviously, for good reason. And now the crows are back. And they're like, just wait, it's sitting outside, like, where's our food, man? Um, it's weird. This thing, it doesn't have to be just for simplicity. It's a weird thing because it's not in like the UI thing. It's like in its own little node thing. It's under like a blank node. What does this thing look like when you play it? Um, oh, this is gonna be. Oh, this is not gonna work. This is like for if this is for like if it's like outside your program. Let's look this thing up. Let's look this puppy up here. A dialogue used for confirmation of actions. The window is there's another one, but pressing cancel has a different outcome. Than okay. The accept dialogue. The other depends on the host OS. Yeah, I think this is not what we want. It's probably this other thing. Let's add it here. Accept dialogue. Okay, so there's pop-up. Base dialogue used for... What is this one? They're very similar. Oh, okay. No, we don't want that one. We would want this one. Um, yeah, this looks like it's for... Not sure what you would use that for in a video game, but I could see you using it for stuff outside a video game. Um, there's a guy, Joker pointed this guy. I think that he's working on like a video editing software in Godot. Looks pretty interesting. So let's go back to this thing. This is a required internal node. Remove and freezing it may cause a crash. If you wish to hide it or any of its children, use canvas item visible. Let's see what this person says on the Godot forums. Glad these things are up again. I think these are different ones, though. I wanted to add a confirm when the pop-up. You can use a pop-up to show the model inside. You can use a label for text. How old is this shit? This is not that old. That's how I manually. But then I found out about. I'm on Godot 4, by the way. If I call correct, I couldn't figure out how to use those nodes. I chose this alternate alternate reality. I switched through realities and now it works. I stepped. Okay. Add it, set it to invisible, fire, add a normal button. Okay, so this just makes it easier. Like there's no. Let's do past year here. Modal. In a multiple Windows environment using Godot. As anyone faces, I've tried to use confirmation, but the user can click on other open windows that can still receive input while the dialog is open and wait for an answer. I want my application to totally freeze pinning. I usually just put a blank panel that you can't click through to stop that shit. Nobody helped the poor guy out. That's pretty unusual. This is the same guy on Reddit. I created a transparent panel that covers the whole screen. Yeah, so that's the way I do it. Anyways, let's see if we can make this thing center. The initial, it doesn't have like the things that other things have. When I click it, like this one, because it's not a, I think this is for something else, because it's not a UI thing. Or I'll have to put it inside something else. I can't move it around. got its own little viewport. Do they all have their own little viewport thing? No, it needs it because it's going to be, yeah, let's get rid of that thing. We'll just manually make our own. It won't be that big of a deal because we can copy. We're going to need like 150 of those things, and we can just copy and paste them later. Okay, so what do we got here? So we got this panel that is going to be the confirmation panel container. And I want it to be, yeah, because like this thing is, it's weird. You know what we could do? No, I want it. I was thinking we could put it over the whole thing and not have the blank thing, but we were gonna have to have the blank thing as well. All right. Let's see here. Layout, sizing. We don't want it to fill. We want it to shrink center. Shrink center. Minimum size. I can't remember what the panel what we were doing before. We just need it to be like a generic one because we'll do all of them. We'll have a label that's stuck to the top. Blah, blah, because that's going to change. I'm going to go to the center. Do you want, well, let's make this longer. Do you want to change do you want to recruit Bill Schmill for reals? That's fine. Let's make this 16 though. Font size. And then we're just going to add two, we're going to call this title, label, and we're going to add two buttons. And duplicate this guy. We're going to have a V or a horizontal thing, an H box. Actually, this is going to go up here. This is going to go in here. This is going to go in here. We're going to make this H box smaller. And stick it to the bottom. Well, yes. No. Yes button. No button. There's that spacing thing that I didn't use. Well, you know what? How did we do that? There was a way we did it where it was like, where was that? Oh, that was in we can look at the other one if I have to, but let me look around here. There was a way. We kind of want it like that. We actually do want it like that, but just with a little bit of spacing. The only thing I worry about when manually typing and spacing is if the screen changes, because we are going to have to fuck with screen changes later. And I'm trying to make it less painful. You know, if we manually put in a space and then the train, it's not going to be able to go in there. We did like a thing. Where was that? That was under the population list. We were originally fucked with that, but we found a better way to do it. I was told a better way to do it. Theme overrides. No, it's not the. I don't want to use the separator thing. I want to do it that way you showed. I think you showed it to me, where we had it like cut in half, like for each thing in there, like split it. I don't remember what it was called. Maybe that was in the label that we were making. No, because it would have been. Oh wait, the label didn't have. I think it was the label is what we were doing. We changed the label to fit half of the whatever the size. It wasn't. It's a third at this point, but I think that uh fit. Oh, it's that one. Yeah, yeah, it's that one. Let's see here. Um, the only problem is that it's gonna be. It's gonna be. It's right here. That's the problem. It's gonna. This is gonna be. It's gonna, well, which I guess isn't the end of the world. I was gonna say it's gonna be obviously, the buttons themselves are gonna be bigger, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Where was that? Container sizing. Yeah, actually, that doesn't look bad. And now we have the question: is should the yes be on the left or on the right? That's always the question, uh, because you know what? We could center this word, this title too. I don't like how that looks. It's weird when stuff's centered, it looks off, but it's not. Thank you, Win. I knew it was. I knew we did it a better way the other time. I wonder if we can just bump it up a little bit. What does this shit do? Didn't seem to do anything. Transform, scale, position. We could just manually put in a position, I suppose, if it will let us. It won't let us. Uh, Pivot, offset. What does that do? Oh, we can't put anything in there. Uh, we could put a margin thing in. A margin, whatchamacallit. That's just for the text. Because if we have two lines, which we might have two lines, depending on the length of their name, it actually looks kind of better with two lines. We just need to have it like a little bit up higher. I think I might have to put a margin container in here. The other thing we could do actually is if we made this, that's too big. Uh, that's too wide. like this. Actually, this is how we can do this. And then we put this up at the top. Yeah, that'll work. Then let's make it 2 lines though, just to see what happens, how it looks. Uh, yeah, that works. Yes. No. I think I'm going to change the order. Then the other thing is I can kind of see all this stuff a lot behind it. So we can make that darker. Let's do this first. I'm going to run it and see how it looks, but I want to do it from, we're going to have to put the button in, well, we're going to have to make the button work. Um, but we're not going to, make those buttons work. Just want to see what it looks like. I might have it turn off the description panel on the back. I don't know how I feel about that. So I got to run it to see. So we got the description here. We got our close button. Our V boxes. This thing needs to be. Now we got that thing there. This V box down here is where we're going to need this button up. But we actually need to write some code for this here. We're just going to have a export private. What is the thing? It's a button. We're gonna say this. We're gonna call this the recruit button, and we're missing. We're missing stuff. We're not missing it. It's just in the wrong spot. We're in the wrong spot. Then this is gonna be a private override, or no, private. Get out of there. Void recruit button. Button. We're gonna not call it that. We're gonna call it. I think I already told this story, but I was watching this one guy's tutorial, and he has a bunch of them. And they're actually really good, except for one thing. He would he would misspell stuff on purpose so that they didn't match. But then he would have to remember how he misspelled it. So like he would do like that when he was referencing later, and it was really bizarre to me. So this will be open confirmation. And we will, this is not what we need. We need, this is a panel container. Container. Yeah, it was so weird too because he was very into like teaching in his tutorials too about like best practices about stuff. Um, but that was his one like flaw. Show. So that's all we need that to do. I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say panel on here. Open confirmation what was what I would wonder later. So I'm putting panel in there. And this is going to be Then we've connected the signal there. We're going to close this thing. And we're going to close this thing. And we're going to hit play. Let's see if this debug thing goes away on its own. It just appeared randomly. That is an interesting orange. Oh, I didn't put it in there. Didn't put that in there. There we go. The classic thing. At least now I know that that's always the problem. 99% of the time. I think Johnny Stewart, I think we need to keep the description panel should definitely be open. But this looks terrible in the background. And I do want that to work, where like you could just bail out. Oh no, I don't want to do any of that shit, and you can just bail out. So what we can do here, it's already as dark as it thinks it can go, I guess. Let's make it so we can see this shit. This is all of them, I believe. Oh no. Oh yeah, it's everything, and this should just be the. Yeah, we want the opposite of that. So it's white. I think we want to go this direction. I'm gonna issues. That is not as dark as I want it. I want it more dark. I don't want to be able to see through it. Nothing else has that. You know what? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit right now? I will just, like I said, we're gonna be changing up a bunch of stuff. It's like, why give a fuck about this stuff when the fuck? Uh, why do we care about this shit when we don't care about how ugly everything else is? Like, who gives a fuck? Wait, what do we got here? There we go. Uh, why am I overthinking this? We'll be back to it one day, and we'll be like, why is this so ugly? But it works, and so on this thing though, when this shows, we could do on the other one on visibility change. The problem is it's going to happen too fast, but that's okay. We're aware of that problem. Trying to think if there's any other reason we could do the script here to fill in that information. And then what would the yes button is going to spawn the stuff. How much time do we got? Oh shit. I don't think we're gonna get much farther, but let's just fix the get as much as we can possibly do. What was my bullshit earlier where I was like, oh man, we'll get through all of these. I think I did one of them. Andre, how's it going? You can assign them after you finish. Exactly. Yeah. There's no reason to worry about that shit at this point. Um, it would be like I said. There's nothing. There's too many other things to worry about, and it's already so ugly that like we're not worried about the beauty at this point. Like this thing is fucking ugly. Look at these icons. They're awful. Anyways, so let's do I'm gonna stick the script on here, I think. um, 19 Windows 95. Man, I was so resistant of switching to Windows back in the day. I was hardcore DOS, you know, so resistant. Did not want to do that shit. Uh, Population or confirmation panel container. We're gonna have a bunch of these at some point. So I'm going to name these differently. Yeah, and I even had I had some uh, scripts or something. I can't remember how it worked, but in DOS where you could also type in Unix commands, and it's called Linux now, but uh, so because we were, we were hackers, and uh, let's rename this as well. Recruit hero. And it was pretty fun. I actually, I went to a continuation high school. Look at that fucking class name. It's beautiful. I went to a continuation high school where you could just do whatever you wanted after, you went 4 hours a day and you just did whatever you wanted. Um, and the, and I took a computer class, and it was like the easiest class on the planet because I had a computer at that time, in 1991 or whatever. No one had any computers. And I changed the starting bat file that said hello to the teacher. So in in DOS, it would fly by. And I got in so much trouble. Probably in this day and age, I would get in more trouble. But back then, they didn't know what to do with me, because it wasn't. And it also wasn't malicious. It just said "Hi, Mister Whatever." Um, but man, they were pissed and didn't know, like I said, just didn't know what to do, what the proper punishment was. Uh, so what we'll do here for this thing is we're gonna, well, let's type this in here. Private copy this just in case and what's funny is I remember playing Mech Warrior or something. I think it was the first Mech Warrior, the second Mech Warrior, where I think I had to install Windows to play it. Yeah. Well, that works today too in Windows system. Uh, yeah, I think it was some video game. I think it was a Mech Warrior video game that I had to uh, install Windows, and I don't think you paid for it back then. I don't think you paid for Windows or whatever. It was just they wanted you to change, kind of like how they did Windows 10 this time. Recruitment thing here, fucking every time. Um, so if this thing opens up, it's gonna happen too fast, I'm pretty sure, but we'll do it anyway. Maybe it might not matter actually. We're gonna need. It might actually not matter now that I think about it because we're getting the information from somewhere else. We're gonna have a private label called title label, and then we're just gonna fill this information in with a big long line of shit here. Equals. Yeah, me and all my friends were very resistant to uh, Windows. Yeah, I'm not into this underscore bullshit that Godot keeps adding. I don't like it. I don't know what it is. I just ignore it or get rid of it. Um, I also was shocked the internet took off. Not that like the knowledge, like the internet knowledge part, but the pictures part, because it was so fucking slow when it started. Um, it was so slow, and I was like, this never is gonna last, and no one's gonna be able to figure this shit out. Like I thought it would go back to text for a long time, you know. Um, so let's see what we got to put in here. We want to put in, and we should probably. Did we start this yet? You know, this isn't the time to do it, but I'm gonna put a. I don't think we did it. Well, let's make sure. Public classes. We did get started on it. I don't know why underscores drive me insane. They drive me insane at work too. Um, but they're better than like, so people have this tendency at my work to write a sentence for their file names, and it's actually caused Windows, you know, has like the 260 character limit for directories, and so they'll write a sentence that's, you know, has stuff like that in it. Um, so do I want to do this right now? I'm almost done with my, yeah, we should probably, we got one right here. This will be hero confirm equals whoa, do you want to recruit space, and then back to here we're gonna go squigs. Oh, you know, we shouldn't put a space in here though. We're getting away from that bullshit because we're doing it this way. Then this is gonna be, yeah, I have this backup software at work that backs up everything, you know, supposedly at all the time it's backing up, but I need to make it like an additional copy at my work just in case. Like we have, so in every time, every person who's running the company I work for um uh has like this, we have so many backups, and I get it's a good thing since I'm the IT guy, and if fucking something terrible happened, I think we're using selected county population actually. Yeah, if something terrible happened, I would be the person they would blame. So, anyways, we have all these backup things, and I have to manually copy this one thing. That's all the files basically. But there's no problem with anything until I do the copy, and then that's when that 260 character thing happens. And man, it is a problem, and it's hard to get people not to name their files that way. Because they're like, I've never heard of this before, especially if they're a Mac user. Jesus. This is very long. Is that the best practices for everything? For for Godot? Or is it best practices for like just programming in general? Sorry, back to the thing. The default nomenclature there. Close. Close. What's that? I've never heard of that. What does long path do? We didn't do this. We didn't do this. We didn't do the thing. We're gonna put this. Man, this song is awful. Who is this band? Good Kid. I don't know who this is. It's awful. It's remove. We need to assign this to. Forgot a crucial. Or we forgot a crucial point here. Export. Build. So it's only on Win 10 Plus. So that may be an option, but I refuse to use regedit unless it's an absolutely dire necessity, because Windows should not make me use fucking regedit. there's no way that is an acceptable thing to have to fucking edit. And I do it all the time, but I try to never use it because it is unacceptable that Microsoft has you go into and edit that. That should be a checkbox in a goddamn setting. Even though I do, like I said, I have to do it all the time. But I try to never use regedit because it's just makes me so mad that Microsoft, and there's so many things that you have to go in there and to fix, like the most minor shit. Here's one that actually, there's a couple of ways that it doesn't always work, but when you start the computer and you want numlock to be turned on, you have to go into fucking regedit and edit a thing. Why? I think actually Windows 10 does have a setting for that, but it doesn't always work. And I have this one user who goes through computers quite frequently and will freak out. Do you think it's entry? What the fuck is that called? Entry cost. There's a name for that where like you have like there's a way to keep people from doing something by making it like hard to do, basically. Barrier to entry. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, that's there. They don't want people fucking. Yeah, well, so that's the other option, is setting in the BIOS. The problem is that, well, BIOS is another thing. I'm usually remote, and to try to get someone to get into the BIOS is like nearly impossible. Be like, hey, F12, just hit F12. And they're like, but it doesn't say anything. I don't give a shit. Hit F12, or whatever. Does Apple? I don't use Apple very frequently. Do they take that to the limit? All right, so Rebecca Lee, I don't know actually if that's the person I clicked on, and I think I've broken it. Yeah, I broke it because I don't have the other parts in. What were these errors? Let's make sure that was just because it's not. Let's make sure this is the right person. Cynthia James. Her name is there. I guess I could have looked right there. Do you want to recruit Cynthia James? And then these buttons still don't work yet. But that's exactly what we wanted. I'm going to save this. We're going to need this for other buttons and stuff. So at least it's not just like on Unity, I got to this point where like I had way too many scripts. There was just like a tiny script for everything. It's funny is I have a couple of developer friends, and they are they would never touch a Windows computer. They rather die than not use a Mac. Like they're like so hardcore Mac dudes, and like I've given up caring. Like if someone said like, "Hey, if I got a new job or something like, hey, we're all on Linux," I'd be like, "Great, I guess I'll learn that shit." Like I don't give a fuck. They're like, "Oh, we're all Mac, sure." I, People are so passionate about that. The Apple guys especially, like developer friends, so adamant. They do. They actually they're very uh, uh, pompous. Actually, so I don't invite them to my streams because it would be too. They would just be like the whole time. I'm like, man, I'm just learning. Come on. Um, yeah. So, all right, let's push this. We're still in hero movement. Let's close this stuff and let's call it a day. Let's actually update what we're doing here, though. Um, so recruit hero is actually where we're at. I'm gonna put a note in here. We need to still, because I'm not gonna work until this next week, and I'm gonna forget. Make the yes and no buttons work on the confirmation, then actually recruit the hero. Yeah, Chad has been extremely helpful. Wynn was here earlier. He might still be here. He hasn't said anything in a while. Very helpful. I think Godot has a lot of crazy, weird shit. That's what I think. And Chad is very helpful with the telling me, no, it's not crazy, weird shit. It's just you got to do it this way, which I think is weird. The stuff that I think is weird, and then they tell me how to do it. Global position and position is still, I find extremely frustrating. Like I think they should one should not exist. Pick one and get it the fuck out of here. And it should be position. Position should not exist. I don't know. Or they should. So the real thing is, I think they should show them both in the inspector. It should show whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It should show its position and its global position. And so, people keep comparing it to Blender, and I don't know anything about Blender. I guess Blender wasn't that great at the beginning. Hero moves great, but now we need to be able to recruit more for the stacking. We're going to stack a bunch. Well, that's another reason I've been jumping. I'm using 4.2 beta 4. And in fact, I didn't even look. Generally, I look ahead of time now to see if they haven't released a new beta before the weekend. Their betas have been good. That is far superior than Unity's betas. Far superior. Like, I've seen a few bugs, but they haven't affected me. Unity, I was on their betas as well, and their bugs would affect you every update. So every update, there would be some new thing that was broken. They would fix one thing, and then there would be another thing that was broken, and you just have to work around it. And and then they said, like, don't use the betas in Unity unless you want to deal with this stuff. And I reported a few things, but what would happen is I would look. You can look like they have like an online. It's not like GitHub. It's like some other thing. And I would look, and it would be ignored basically. So I kind of stopped doing that. I couldn't find mine. It would always be the same problem as I was having though, and it'd be at the bottom of their list. So it was easier to find someone else who was having the same issue and find their workaround to get around it. And it would be stuff like you couldn't click on a button in the inspector. Yeah, so like you would have literally, and it's still on the version I was on Unity. I haven't run anything in Unity in a while. If you had an image selected in the inspector and hit play, it would spam your console with error messages. So like it was, even though it was fine, everything worked, but if you just happen to have clicked in the inspector and been inspecting an image, and then after that, so let's say you fixed it. So one way you could fix it was click off of the image, or you could restart the inspector. But at the beginning, I didn't know. I thought my fucking game was broken, and I'm Googling, and finally find someone who's like, just don't click on an image in the inspector. So like if you're inspecting an image and you hit play, yeah. And I haven't had experienced that at all in Godot. Um, but yeah, I am calling it a day. And next weekend, and we're continue on. I might do some streaming of the Hex Demon game next weekend. I can't. I caught up there. I caught up in Hex Demon from. I've now converted everything that I had in Unity to Godot, and now I feel at a loss. Like, now what do I do? Um, yeah, it was good catching up with you too, and hopefully I'll see you around next time. Yeah, and thanks Win again for all the help, and everyone have a good life existence. All right, bye.